Hi everyone, my name is Leanne and today I'm going to be doing the end of the year book tag. Now looking at the questions for this, I do feel like I probably should have done this tag slightly earlier in the year, even though it's the end of year book tag, but we're going with it anyway. The original creator will of course be linked down below in the description, and I don't think I was tagged by anyone specifically to do this. I might have been, and I may have just forgotten. There are only 5 questions in this tag, so I'm just going to get straight to it. And the first question is, are there any books that you started this year that you need to finish? There are a few books this year that I started and got sort of like halfway through and didn't end up finishing, but I didn't technically DNF them. I just kind of hit pause on them. They were books that I was really enjoying, so Perfect by Rachel Joyce was one of them. Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore, and also a book called White Tears. All 3 of those books suffered from, I read them at quite an emotionally turbulent point in the year and I ended up putting them down, but they're all books that I would really like to finish one day, but I don't think I'm going to finish them by the end of the year. One book which I have started, which I would like to finish by the end of the year, is Villette by Charlotte Bronte. I started reading this in Victober, but I didn't manage to get it finished. October was a bit of a strange reading month for me. I have still been reading this one gradually, so hopefully I will finish it by the end of the year. Question 2 is, do you have an autumnal book to transition you into the end of the year? I feel like we kind of skipped autumn and have gone straight to winter, but I guess one book for this question is Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. You have probably seen this book doing the rounds on BookTube. It has been so popular. It is a middle grade book about a young girl named Morrigan Crow who believes that she is cursed. She believes that she is going to die on, I think it's her 11th birthday, but when she reaches her 11th birthday, that's not what happens. She is whisked off to this magical school where she has to complete a number of trials. I definitely get lots of cozy vibes from this book, so I think it's going to be the perfect book to snuggle under a blanket with and have a cup of tea and some chocolate while I'm reading it, and it's completely gorgeous as well. Question 3 is, are there any new releases that you are still waiting for? And I don't think so. I think all of the books that I was really anticipating have already come out. The only one that I can think of is Melanie Brown's memoir called Brutally Honest. Melanie Brown of Scary Spice, Spice Girls fame. I believe this book comes out really soon. I think it's the 27th of November. It's not a book that I'm necessarily desperate to get my hands on, but I really love the Spice Girls and I really love Mel B. So, question 4 is, what are 3 books that you would like to read by the end of the year? And I picked 3 off my shelves that I'm really excited to read, and unintentionally they all have beautiful pink covers. The first of them is Tangleweed in Brine by Deirdre Sullivan. This is published by Little Island, a publisher in Ireland, and it is a collection of fairy tales. They are retellings of classic fairy tales, and I believe they have a feminist twist to them. This is another book that I really want to get under the covers, under a blanket, and really enjoy. The next book is one that I think is super cool as an idea for a novel, and that is Anatomy of a Soldier by Harry Parker. This is about a British soldier who is severely injured in battle, and his story is told through 45 objects. So there's no first person narrator, there's no omniscient narrator. It is told from the perspective of objects, and I think that's just such an intriguing concept for a book. And the final one that I chose was A Sunshine by Melissa Lee-Houghton. Had to include some poetry here. This is one of these poetry collections that I have been really anticipating reading, and because of that I've been putting it off a little bit. I'm so certain that I'm gonna love it that I'm kind of reluctant to find out if I actually do. Does that make sense to anyone, or is that just me? And on to question 5. Is there a book that you are yet to read this year that you think could shock you and become your favourite book of the year? Yes, I think any of the books that I have mentioned that I'm going to be reading for the rest of the year have the potential to make it onto my favourite books of the year list. But a couple of books that I haven't mentioned yet, in fact it's more of an author that I haven't mentioned yet, is Sally Rooney. Sally Rooney wrote Conversations with Friends, which I have on audiobook, and she also wrote Normal People, which was longlisted for the Man Booker Prize. The lovely Beth Chats Books has sent me a copy of Normal People, which should be arriving in the next couple days, and I think either of those books could be my favourite book of the year. I've just heard so many good things about Sally Rooney's writing. I've seen a lot of interviews and listened to a lot of podcasts with her, and it just seems like her writing, it seems like she writes very Leanne books. There are 6 questions in this tag. I told a lie. So the final question in this tag is, have you already started making reading plans for 2019? Yes, I have. I have a couple of ideas ticking around in my head of things that I would like to incorporate into my reading in 2019. Obviously, at the end of the year, I will do a proper full video talking about my reading goals and how I did on my reading goals for 2018. I'm in the process of figuring out a series to replace What the Hell Happened to My Hauls, or a challenge to replace it. As much as I've enjoyed doing it, I really do think it's run its course. But yeah, watch this space, and at the end of the year I'll tell you all about my reading goals for 2019. I'd love to have a chat with you guys down in the comments. Let me know what book you are really excited to read for the rest of the year. And let me know if you've read any of the books that I'm really looking forward to reading. I'd love to hear your thoughts, whether they're positive or negative, I don't mind. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing well, and I will talk to you in my next video.